welcome back. Today I want to go over an important number. The number is pi. And what is pi? Pi is a Greek symbol that looks like this. It's pretty much the circumference divided by a diameter of a circle. So if you were to take the length of the length of the distance around the circle divided by the diameter of the circle, you get an exact number, and it's always the same regardless of how big the circle is. How did they calculate this? They went ahead and put a polygon, an equal-sided polygon inside of a circle, and they added up the size of that polygon. And what they're saying is, if you add the perimeter of that polygon, it's going to be close to the circumference of a circle. So you can use the trigonometry to figure out the diameter of the circle with an equal-sided polygon. To give an example here, we'll start with the equilateral triangle. It only has 3 sides, so it's easy to figure out. So if you say the size of an equilateral triangle is 1, you can calculate the diameter of the circle is 1.1547. I won't get into the math, but you just gotta use trigonometry to figure out that dimension. So if you have the perimeter is equal to 3, you divide it by the diameter of the circle, you end up with pi is equal to 2.981. Now you know that's not exactly right, because you can see a big gap in between the triangle and the circle. So if let's make the polygon a little bit bigger. Let's make the polygon a square. Now I have 4 sides, with 1 being the length of the side. So the parameter is 4 inches. So we take the 4 divided by the diameter of the circle, you end up with pi equals 2.8284. And again, you know, wait, that's not right either, because there's still a gap between the square and the circle. So for us to get more accurate, we gotta increase the polygon. Let's go ahead and increase to the 8 sides. Okay, now you're starting to see the circle is starting to shape. It's still not accurate because you can still see a gap between the circle and the polygon. But if we do the math, we end up with pi equal to 3.0615. Let's do a large polygon with a 28 sides. 28 sides, you'll start seeing that it's shaping into a circle now. We calculate the diameter, 8.9314. And that will give you the pi ratio of 3.14. So now we're a lot more accurate what the number should be. And how do I know if I'm a little more accurate? If we were to chart all these polygons and write it down, we already did the 3 inch, so we know 3 sides is 2.59, a 4 sided is 2.8284, a 6 sided is 3, 8, 28, it rounds to about 3.14. If you did a 100-side polygon, you know, you can see the difference is not much. It's still at 3.14. If you do a 239,893-sided polygon, which is pretty detailed, that's the number that they use inside your calculator. So if you hit your scientific calculator, you put pi equals, it will come up with that number there. And that's plenty accurate enough for any calculations you do. Even if you go on to like a billion-sided polygon, you're going to end up with the same number, because the difference is so minute, so small, it doesn't even matter. It's still 3.14. The true value of pi, and you got to go into infinity polygon. Well, you can't do that. And the reason why you go to infinity is because pi really has no ending. It just goes on forever. So the common number is 3.14. That's the number we're going to use. Now, how to use that number? If you know the circumference of a circle, you can figure out the diameter. If you know the diameter of the circle, then you can figure out the circumference. Then give an example. You have a 6-inch pipe. You know a 6-inch pipe has an OD of 6.25 inches. If you were to multiply that by pi, you'll get the circumference of that pipe. You'll know the distance around that pipe is 20.8130. Let's give it another example. Well, out in the field, it's hard to tell if that pipe is 16-inch or 14-inch. So the way you do it is you measure the circumference around the circle, take the distance around the circle, you end up with a 50.2654. Go ahead and divide that by pi, you're going to end up with 16. So now you can be more confident that you know you're looking at a 16-inch pipe. So that's what pi is to me. Pi is the circumference divided by the diameter.